Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and today we're going to be talking about the top 3 stocks for the month of July. And I believe that the markets are only going to continue to push up, especially with the bullish news that we got at the end of June. So we have had a lot of talks around the interest rates, and the Fed has finally said that they may be cutting interest rates sooner than expected. So in my personal belief, I believe that the markets are only going to continue to push up in anticipation for this rate cut. And then when the rate cut does come, things are only going to continue to explode to the upside. And so I believe this next month, whether a rate cut comes or not, the markets will continue to push up again for anticipation of that rate cut, which right now is expected to be in September, but we will see. And so with that being said, I believe the 3 stocks that we're talking about here today have a lot of potential. We're going to start out with a favorite on this channel. He's in the background right there, the mascot, Mr. Big Bear AI. We're then going to hop into the president's stock, DJT, and we're going to finish off with Robinhood stock. All 3 have a lot of potential, but again, remember, this is just merely my opinion. You should always do your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. So starting out with Big Bear AI, when we look at the long-term trend building in the Big Bear, very positive. We could see that we have been in this overall upwards bullish trend, and here to finish at the end of June, things have only gotten crazier. So the candlesticks have gotten bigger and the volume has been jumping into the Big Bear. So overall, Big Bear has been seeing a lot of momentum, and we've seen it bounce up quite a bit from its low that was set earlier in April. So right around Liberation Day, it's had a massive jump. And in just the last week alone, it did have a 50% jump up. And so there is one more trading day in June. And whether Big Bear goes up around 5%, 10% to the upside, or 5% or 10% down to the downside, I believe that the month of July is going to be huge for Big Bear. And at the end of the month, we do have Big Bear's earnings as well. So I believe that investors are hopping into the Big Bear for anticipation for this next earnings report. And I do believe that we could be seeing something big in this earnings report, as we do know that Big Bear has gathered a lot of big government contracts in this last year. Those government contracts haven't necessarily shown up yet in their earnings reports yet. So potentially in this next earnings report, but regardless, Big Bear has been seeing a lot of momentum and volume this last week. So when we actually do look at the volume, we could see that this is the most volume that we have had for the year in Big Bear AI. And overall, the market cap has pushed up significantly. So now we could see that Big Bear AI has a market cap of 1.7 billion. Not long ago, this company was right under $1 billion and holding right at $1 billion. So a lot of money has flown into the Big Bear, and also a lot of shorts have started to bet against the Big Bear. So a lot of bears against the Big Bear. We have a high short interest all the way up to 27%. And this is significant because we could be potentially seeing a short squeeze within the Big Bear. So going into the last trading day into June and July, we could be seeing a lot of momentum. When we look at February, when Big Bear AI hit its 52-week high, there were some massive green candlesticks right around that time. And right now, we are still not quite at that 52-week high. So just to get to the 52-week high, about a 74% jump for those who are just getting involved in Big Bear, or those who want to enter into the Big Bear for the first time. And so with Big Bear, I truly believe that if any big catalysts come out here in the short term, whether it's a new government contract or just some news around what they're doing security wise, basically any big catalyst with all the volume, with all the investors into Big Bear, I truly believe that this stock could really push a lot higher. So right now, when we look at the other indicators, we are looking a bit overbought on the relative strength index, but does appear that we still have a lot more room to run on the MACD. So personally, I believe again that macroeconomics this month are going to be overall positive, and the overall markets are going to push forward. And I believe that BigBearAI, being a security stock and also an AI stock, that they are positioned perfectly for a lot of momentum, especially if we do get some type of confirmation about when the rate cut will come. Even though it is expected in September, there could always be the chance that it comes sooner than expected, even this next month, as the Fed has said. So if that happens, that will be wild. And so talking about squeezes, there is the potential that we will see a squeeze in this stock sometime soon, and that is DJT. So with DJT currently, I believe that when we look at just the technicals, we are trading in the basement of this stock. So right around $21 is what I consider to be the main floor in this stock. Between $21 to $27 is a place where this stock has bounced multiple times. We could see in the short term, we were even in that sideways channel for a bit, but right now we are in the basement. And when we look at the other technical indicators of the relative strength index and on the MACD, we are also looking very oversold on both of those indicators. And with DJT, big catalyst that we may be seeing in the short term is going to be their earnings report for Q4 of 2024, expected to be in about 13 days on July 11th. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes from this earnings report. I don't really expect anything too different from what they have reported in previous earnings reports. But what is interesting with DJT is I do believe that this company's earnings are going to get better with time. And if you are investing into DJT, you are truly investing into the future, because we do know that the president has done a lot when it comes to cryptocurrency, and this stock, this company, is doing a lot when it comes to cryptocurrency. So they recently just did a big $2.5 billion investment into Bitcoin. And what's really significant is with this investment, there was a little bit of dilution just to get this big investment, but the company has announced a big $400 million buyback plan into this stock. So showing that the insiders and the company does see strength within this stock for the long term. And also, when we just look at some of the holders in DJT, there are a lot of big holders, a lot of big politicians, and even that California state fund that has invested into DJT. And funny enough, here's something else to get bullish for investors. We know Jim Cramer is a meme when it comes to Wall Street. Many joke that what he says do the complete opposite. So if Jim Cramer says to be bullish on a stock, you should be bearish, and vice versa. Be bearish if he says to be bullish. And so Jim Cramer says that he doesn't really anticipate a short squeeze. So if we're going on the opposite of Jim Cramer, that should tell you now is a good time to buy DJT. What he said is, well, I can't really anticipate a short squeeze because I don't know. You've got 12% short position. Could be maybe the real short squeezes have occurred when it gets to about 25, 30. I think below that, then you're on your own with the fundamentals. And so Jim Cramer is looking at the past when it comes to DJT, their old earnings reports, what they have done with the past. But what I encourage investors to do is have a forward-looking vision when it comes to the stock of DJT. Because yes, when we do look at their earnings, they haven't really had a $1 million quarter, but just once, which is very weak when it comes to companies that are on the stock market. So $1 million quarter for a company that does have a market cap around 4.8 billion, that is pretty weak. But DJT is doing a lot when it comes to cryptocurrency and decentralized finance. So I personally believe that there's a lot of intrinsic value with DJT, and over the last year there has just been a lot of development. So when we just look at the short timeline, we know that the president was recently going through the elections and then the inauguration and everything there, fixing a lot with the country. But there's been a lot of backlog things he has also done with cryptocurrency, which this company has been taking advantage of. So I don't just look at DJT as a truth social platform, but actually with everything they're doing with that decentralized finance. But there is a lot of shorts in DJT, a significantly high short interest of 18%. With short interest, it's always important to keep your eye on this, because the higher the short interest is, the greater chance there is for a squeeze, especially with a stock that could be seeing a lot of volume and momentum, which I definitely believe DJT will see in the near future. And you better believe the name DJT, when the stock starts to get flying, that those investors who haven't been in DJT during these times are going to FOMO buy into the company. And so just like we were talking about Trump Media doing that big $400 million buyback, that's going to bring us into our last stock for the day, one that we are very bullish on, and they are doing a buyback program themselves, and that is Robinhood stock. So as we know, in May of 2024, they did approve a $1 billion buyback program over the next 2 to 3 years, started in Q3 of 2024. And this year, they actually increased the authorization by 500 million, bringing that to 1.5 billion. And as of Q1 of 2025, they have bought about 667 million. So if you are buying into Robinhood stock, you are buying into a company and into a stock that is only continuing to see the shares, the outstanding share amount, decrease, which is very positive, because many times we talk about in the stock market how awful dilution is and how dilution takes away so much. Well, with Robinhood, they are doing the complete opposite, buying over $1 billion worth of stock back. So you better believe that this company is only going to continue to grow with their price as shares are being bought back. And this company is growing overall. So not just their stock price, but when we look at the fundamentals as well, we could see that each of their earnings reports have only gotten better. And so at the end of 2024, they had their biggest earnings yet at 1.1 billion. And so overall, Robinhood, the company, is continuing to earn more money, and the platform itself is only continuing to grow every single day. When it comes to finance, now more than ever, people are putting it into their own hands, and Robinhood is with a lot of investors. So in my opinion, the most popular brokerage among young people, we could see that with the signups and with the revenue that they are continuing to grow every single quarter. And so overall, when we do look at the technical analysis in the short term, Robinhood, like many other stocks, is looking a bit overbought, but I believe the craze is only going to continue into the market. So maybe a little bit of short-term bleeding, but I believe this month will be big for Robinhood. And if there are any gains given back in the short term, they will be gained back in the long term. And personally, I have a price target and a price forecast for Robinhood that is going to be at $100, and I do believe that will come sooner than expected, so before the end of the year. So myself, I am very bullish on all three of these stocks here. I think that July is going to be an awesome month in the stock market, and I would be curious to hear what everyone else is holding. So please drop a comment down in the section below on if you're bullish on the Big Bear, if you're bullish on DJT, Robinhood, or if there are any other stocks that you are looking at this current moment. As always, I appreciate you guys coming to the video. I always post a top 3 stocks for the month of, and I'm always happy when I get these videos out, because it just shows that this YouTube channel is only continuing to grow and that we are staying consistent with our goals and staying consistent on this platform. But it's all of you that make it possible for me to do this. So I thank you all, and I want us to just continue to beat the markets. As always, if you haven't already, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your Saturday.